Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 263, Adesanya versus Vettori 2. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Carlos Felipe versus Jake Collier. And how I see this one right here is Carlos Felipe, very powerful, is the truer heavyweight, the younger fighter. But I feel like Collier is experienced, coming from a smaller division, a little bit more like well-rounded, more fleshed out. Felipe is one of these heavyweights in this generation that just refuses to be a rounded out fighter. So I'm not really high on his grappling or defense, but also to understand Collier's cardio might not be up to par to really put a consistent grappling game in there. But even without the grappling, or to a minimum, I feel like he has the more polished striking overall. There's a knockout threat for Felipe, but I feel like Collier can mix his kicks and not allow Felipe to base as much on his punches to generate power and mixing body kicks to the body. It'll make Felipe have a hard night and not be able to be successful with his boxing. So I feel like Collier is experienced in being more rounded, landing kicks, not allowing Felipe to base, will allow Collier, and also mixing the takedowns, or at least attempting or threatening with them, will freeze up Felipe and allow Collier to outwork him to a decision. So in this one, I got Jake Collier via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Ziam versus Luigi Vendramini. In this fight, Ziam will have height, will have reach, the better striker. Vendramini is the better grappler. And this could very well play out like Ziam being taller, being able to neutralize the grappling or the takedowns of Vendramini and just simply outstriking him and picking him apart on the feet. But Ziam's takedown defense has not really held up, has been taken down and a lot in his UFC fights, controlled for a large portion of the time in these fights. So I feel like Vendramini will be able to be aggressive, which will open up opportunities for takedowns, take it to the ground, and really just start to wear on Ziam, forcing him to make mistakes. And I think in that second round, he's able to get that tap out. So in this one, I got Luigi Vendramini via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Steven Peterson versus Chase Hooper. And how I see this one right here is that I think, just flat out, I think Peterson is the more well-rounded fighter. He's definitely the veteran. I think he got like 10 years older than Hooper, but that is relevant, but not so much when I'm factoring this one. While I am factoring it in, I think Hooper is young. He's doing all the right stuff. Yes, he might be green right now in some areas, like especially striking. Yes, he needs some more hair on his chest, but I definitely think he has a much higher ceiling than Peterson, and I can never really be high on Peterson. Peterson has shown incredibly low fight IQ at times and just has been disappointing. He's like not a fighter. He's just a staple of a fighter that you can't rely on. He's not. That's all. Hooper, I would give the grappling advantage, but Peterson is no slouch in the grappling. No slouch really anywhere, just like I said, except mentally, a mental slouch. And I think Chase Hooper has been putting in the work with his striking. So I feel like he'll be able to outstrike Peterson, or at least be able to give Peterson a good go on the feet, and then be able to be the smarter fighter out there and make the better decisions out there. And I can see him mixing up with Peterson on the feet, finding opportunities for takedowns, then on the ground, forcing Peterson to react, and Peterson making the wrong reactions on the ground, which will allow Hooper to capitalize and get the submission in that second round. So in this fight, I got Chase Hooper via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Matt Frevola versus Terrence McKinney. And look at this one. McKinney has a solid wrestling background, solid athleticism, real good head kick that he could catch Frevola with. Explosive, but looks a little bit raw talently wise, especially striking. His striking defense is very herky-jerky and leaning back, which isn't exactly technical at all. And really coming down to this one, I see Terrence McKinney with a lot of talent, but he needs to really start fixing a lot of these flaws up. Maybe sometimes people's flaws are just who they are, and then they try to fix them. They go away from who they are as a fighter. But I feel like Terrence McKinney still young enough to really start to work on those flaws and still be himself, but clean up his technique a little bit. But right now, I think he's a little bit too raw. I think he's the better wrestler in this one, or at least I would believe he's the better wrestler in this one. But I think Matt Frevola is more experienced. In fact, he got more fights than Frevola, but Frevola has far more UFC fights. And I think Frevola just has proven to be a hard-working fighter, proven to be a cardio machine, proven to be a grinder out there. Whereas McKinney, most of his fights have been quick stoppages. We haven't really seen him go far. So you just got to lean to Frevola as far as a guy that has been there, done that, been able to dig deep, been there with some top contenders or at least some solid prospects coming up, and been able to grind out wins. I just think experience is going to be the factor in this one. And for, like I said, McKinney's going to be the talent, but I feel like Frevola's experience is going to overcome the talent in this one. Be the outstrike him, stay clean. Probably will still catch a head kick. Probably will be a rough fight, but Frevola loves the rough fights and will be able to overcome, rally, and outwork and outlast McKinney to a decision. So in this one, I got Matt Frevola via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division, Pannie Kianzad versus Alexis Davis. And how I see this one right here, I feel Alexis Davis will have a grappling advantage, but I feel like Kianzad will have a wrestling advantage. I feel like she has a striking advantage, much crisper striking, much more power, much more polished. And I think she should be able to dictate where this fight goes to the ground or not for the most part. And if it does go there, Kianzad is no slouch in grappling either. So I feel in this one, Kianzad will be able to address the grappling, keep it on the feet, outstrike Davis to a relatively clean, almost shutout decision over Alexis Davis. So in this one, I got Pannie Kianzad via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Hakeem Dawodou versus Movsar Evloev. And I see this one right here. Hakeem Dawodou, or Dawodou, without a doubt, in my opinion and in most people's opinion, is the better striker in between this fight between Movsar Evloev. Solid takedown defense. We haven't really seen too much of his grappling, but it must be a little bit, it's decent to solid grappling defense and maybe offense. But like I said, I don't even really ever going to really see his offensive grappling, but he's a sprawling brawler or a sprawling technician, really. He's not like a knockout artist or a wild striker. But what I see in this one, definitely striking edge, but I feel like Movsar Evloev is the more well-rounded fighter and overall the better fighter and should be able to mix in the takedowns and keep the striking relatively close to an extent. And it's not like Hakeem Dawodou necessarily just be out there just blowing out all of his opponents in the striking and be like 100 strikes to 1 or 120 or this clean shutout thing. A lot of times, especially really in his last stint, his last 2 fights were split decisions. Not even striking totals was relatively a decent gap, like 20 or 30 strikes, but it didn't appear like it was that. It looked closer than that in the striking. So it's not like he was landing big power shots or anything. It's like short, clean shots. And some shots, leg kicks and other things. But to point on this one, yes, he has a striking advantage, but I'm going to lean to Evloev to keep it close in the striking and score takedowns. And with that, be able to get the decision leaned his way. So in this one, I got Movsar Evloev via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Lauren Murphy versus Joanne Calderwood. And I see this one. Murphy definitely has a good chance to pump that jab in Calderwood's face, get her against cage, and score a takedown, and then be able to ground out a decision. But I feel like in this one, Joanne Calderwood's overall striking is definitely better than Murphy's. She's faster, sharper, and I think she's going to take advantage of Murphy's, aggression or forward pressure and be able to, when Murphy comes in, be able to meet her knees to the body, elbows in the clinch, nice Muay plum, and be able to circle off and continue to pepper apart and circle off that cage and put Murphy against cage, then disengage and just continue to rinse and repeat, pick Murphy apart. She comes in aggressively trying to, get into that slugfest or get into that Slagenbacher type fight, whereas Calderwood's going to be the cleaner technician and be able to repeatedly, time and time again, be able to play matador to Murphy's forward pressure. I'll strike her to a clean decision. So in this one, I got Joanne Calderwood via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the light heavyweight division, Eric Anders versus Darren Stewart. And how I see this one right here is really it's just like the first fight. I don't feel like Darren Stewart's going to improve so much in that time or make like adjustments unless, I don't know, he forgot to warm up for the last fight or was sick or something. But either way, Eric Anders was out striking him, hurting him, throwing him around and doing whatever he wanted to. And Eric Anders is not a fighter that's known for, to blow wide or not have a gas tank. You could mention the Thiago Santos fight, but he literally came up in weight in like 2 days notice or a day notice or something and fought a light heavyweight Thiago Santos. I would not fight Thiago Santos on short notice. That was just, especially in hindsight, looks very dumb to do that. And it still was a hard fought fight. I think it was like 3rd or 4th round or in between the 3rd and 4th round that he had to quit or the fight was stopped due to exhaustion. And also a lot of damage taken. So he's not a guy known for having lack of heart or lack of cardio. So if he's doing that to you early, he could be doing that to you to the whole fight. And Darren Stewart has shown a history of having not the best takedown defense. Not a bad grappler by any means, but takedown defense a lot of times can be less than desirable. So I feel this fight's going to be a repeat of the same fight, but this time Anders going into the second round. This fight is actually going to meet the second round, and Anders is going to stop Stewart in the second round. Just be able to pressure him, land heavy shots, keep him against the cage, control him on the ground, wear on him, take away what little pop he got, and just demoralize him, break him down. Eventually be able to put more pop on the shots and go for the finish harder in that second round after really dominated him through the first and then be able to put him away in the second. So in this one, I got Eric Anders via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell. And I see this one right here. Two solid strikers, but I'm just going to be honest with this one. Brad Riddell has been fighting actual real deal, legendary strikers, whereas Drew Dober for nobodies in some low tier Walmart kickboxing Muay Thai league. So I don't really rate Drew Dober's striking credentials all that high. He certainly has been showing a good account for himself as a recent, but in the past, even when he first came to UFC, he talking about how good his striking was. And then I think Olivier Albert Mercier just destroyed this man on the feet, embarrassed him in every single aspect of the game. Dariush, well, he hurt Dariush, but yeah, I've never been super high on Drew Dober striking until recently. But even then, I just think Brad Riddell is the better striker. And he's the fighter who will mix it up. He's the better overall fighter. Wrestling is very underrated. Some of the best, just some clean technique, some good transitioning, some good chain wrestling. Very solid wrestling, surprisingly, from a guy from Australia or was New Zealand. Yeah, from New Zealand or something. Very solid wrestling. Very surprising. And I think he's the fighter that's going to mix it up. He's already a better striker, and also along with mixing and wrestling, it's going to make it easier to decide for him. Take advantage of Drew Dober being one-dimensional, just looking for striking and not really going anywhere else. So I'll strike him, mixing takedowns, throw off his power because he's going to have to be worried about takedowns. Then from there, just pick him, just chew him apart with leg kicks, break him down tactfully, technically, and then get that decision over him. So in this one, I got Brad Riddell via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, our first fight on the main card, Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill. And how I see this one right here is Paul Craig I think he's the more well-rounded fighter, definitely better BJJ and whatnot. We haven't really seen Hill's ground game and can't really judge much off of it, but it's better than I think it is. So I guess some people in comment sections are saying, but I'm not even really going to factor that into too much degree because I just feel like I don't rate Paul Craig's fight IQ all that much. And also a lot of times, in these fights, when he goes with big, heavy-handed punchers, especially athletic, explosive, knockout artist type fighters, he kind of just wilt. Even Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree literally had no ground game, and he let Khalil Roundtree walk him down, knock him out. Tyson Pedro knock him down, walk him out. I said knock him down, walk him out. Walk him down, knock him out. Alonzo Menifee walk him down, knock him out. And if Shogun was even a year younger when they first probably would have knocked him out too. But so even though Craig could be this well-rounded fighter, when he goes against power, his mind just be otherwhere. It'd be in the ghost town, Mohammed Full Dot or whatever guy's name is. Put him in the ghost clan. So I just feel like Jamal Hill's gonna be to walk him down, outbox him, and knock him out in that first round. So in this one, I got Jamal Hill via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Damian Maia versus Bilal Muhammad. So how I see this one right here, I feel Damian Maia is definitely getting older now. Everybody's getting older, but he's 30. I think he has 40 right now. So I think with this one, Damian Maia is getting older. I feel like Bilal Muhammad's wrestling defense and offense is solid enough to stuff the takedown of Damian Maia. Damian Maia will still make it interesting. Damian Maia is just a beast, and he's gonna make it interesting. You can't sleep on his hands, can't sleep on any of his skills. But especially can't sleep on his BJJ and his tenacity. So I think early on he will make it interesting. But I really just think anything he does early, Bilal Muhammad will be able to persevere through and just start to drag him out and then start to see the takedowns coming, stuff them, walk him down, put the grind on him, and it really calls him to wilt. Damian Maia's cardio already a little bit questionable, especially when he can't get the takedown. And now you got Bilal Muhammad just relentlessly, like nonstop tenacity, pressing forward and keep making him work, draining him. And his pace, pressure, and offense and output is going to cause Maia to wilt, and I think he's able to put him away in the third round. So in this one, I have Bilal Muhammad via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. And how I see this one right here is it's surprising that this is a 5-round fight, I guess, because they gone off the star power of Nate Diaz and they acting like he's a BMF champion or former BMF champion or whatever. He's a champion of something. But 5-round fight, Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. How I see this one right here is Nate Diaz is a solid fighter. Get this dude all the respect in the world. He deserves it. But going against Edwards, Edwards is longer, younger, stronger. And there's really no real route for Diaz to win. Good cardio. Edwards is solid takedown offense. And when Diaz wants to press forward and get close and try to clinch up or try to dirty box, Leon Edwards is brutal in the clinch. Very good sharp elbows. Good underhooks. He just good fight IQ and situational awareness in those closer ranges. So, like I said, I can see Diaz having good success, but I could definitely see Edwards just manhandling him around in those positions. Be on the outside, shooting up his legs, shooting up his body, being quicker, being sharper, teeing off on him. And then when Diaz tried to press forward aggressively, be able to circle out or just invite him there, then put him in the clinch, turn him and put him against the cage, start landing knees to the body, elbows, and really just bullying Diaz in this one. And I think it's going to be a case of this almost one-sided traffic for a lot of this fight. Diaz has been too slow, not strong enough, and getting picked apart and being in a showcase fight for Leon Edwards just to show off his skills and show off his improvements. And I think he puts Diaz out there in the third round. I don't think Diaz can have success with takedowns. I don't think Diaz can have the greatest success with his boxing, especially when Edwards is literally kicking his leg out from underneath him, having him limping, and then able to rip those kicks to the body, to come up top. Yeah, that's what I think it's going to be a case of. Picking him apart, taking away him, like chopping him down like a tree, coming up top, hurting him, then finish him off on the ground in that third round. So in this one, I got Leon Edwards via third round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the flyweight division for the undisputed flyweight title, Deiveson Figuiredo versus Brandon Moreno. And how I see this one right here is, I think the first fight said it all. Yes, you could say it was close, and you could say it was a war, and say it was back and forth, and it could have went either way potentially. But I think it was clear who won. It was Figuiredo who won. I think he won like the early rounds, definitely won a championship round. So at least 3 rounds of 5, which would give him the victory regardless. Because literally in the first round, clearly Figuiredo, I feel, or second round, to me, was clear. Some people say it's not, but I feel like the first round was pretty clear. 5th round was especially clear, and the second round was clear enough, I feel. 3rd and 4th rounds, I think 3rd he was almost winning. Then not Figuiredo, but Moreno stole it late, and kind of similar in the 4th round. But to me, if you're the contender coming in trying to win the belt, you got to win that 5th round, and to not show up at all in that 5th round, that just told me everything I need to know about this fight. Even if you got a broken hand, broken jaw, broken leg, you're supposed to come out there, especially in a close fight, or really in any fight. Even if you dominated, you're supposed to, and you're the contender or the title challenger, you're supposed to come out there and make a statement in the 5th round. The 5th round is the most important round in a 5-round fight, title fight. That's the fight you're supposed to show, if you dig deep and win that round, say, I'm the champion, I'm the man. Like I said, dominant or non-dominant in that fight, close or no close, you the contender, you got the title challenger, you got to win that 5th round. And he did not win that 5th round. He really just survived and just laid back and allowed Figuiredo to win that round. He didn't do much of anything in that 5th round. So I feel like in this one, Figuiredo gonna come in sharper, come in better shape. Still think he's a cleaner, more technical fighter. I don't think he's gonna stop Moreno, but I think he will beat him cleaner, make it more clear. Probably get a drop or 2 in this one, and not get it sloppy, trying to pursue the finish in this one, but allow it to materialize in this one, and just be clean and crisp. And I feel like the only reason Moreno really got into the fight was when Figuiredo got sloppy. It wasn't because Moreno was just so good or his technique was matching up with Figuiredo. It was more so Figuiredo overcommitting to his shots or not minding his defense, not minding his footwork, and just coming in looking for big explosive shots, looking for a highlight reel finish. That's the only reason Moreno really got in the fight. So if Figuiredo stay clean, he'll win. And if he fights the same way, he'll win again. Because, again, he clearly showed he wanted it more, and Moreno did not. So either way, whether it be a clean shutout decision or a hard-fought fight, Figuiredo wants it more. and is the cleaner, more technical fighter. So in this one, I got Deiveson Figuiredo via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our main event, Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori 2 for the undisputed middleweight title. And how I see this one right here is, I think Vettori presents some good skills, but I was definitely high on him, still high on him. But to be honest, even though right now a lot of the mainstream, or not even the mainstream, but just people in general are, getting behind Vettori more, and I've probably been on Vettori for a good, really ever since he fought Adesanya, I was like high on him. Like, I knew how good Adesanya was before he came to UFC, and then saw how Vettori did against him, and then saw how good Adesanya did against future opponents after fighting Vettori, and seeing how Vettori looked in other fights, so I knew how good he was for a good number of years now. But really, the last couple of performances, even though the performances that are allowed him to get this title shot, I'm not impressed. I feel like he should have stopped Hermanson. He should have stopped Big Mouth. Kevin Holland. He should have stopped him. He should have stopped both those guys. But he didn't. Yes, he dominated Holland, but Brunson did the same thing just before you did, and he came in on short notice after losing that fight. It should have been a case of you already seen the blueprint and should have been able to follow through even better and be able to dominate the fight. But in that fight, the striking also just wasn't a good showing for me, to be honest, against Holland. Like, the few chances they did stand, it was like Holland was hurting him every single time and having him stumbling and diving for takedowns in just like 10, 15 seconds of striking. So, and then in the Hermanson fight, Hermanson, like, early on looked good, but after that didn't look all that great. It was like a real close striking exchanges. Was stronger in the grappling exchanges, able to maintain the top position in a lot of the grappling exchanges, but nothing super phenomenal in the Hermanson fight. But it did show his cardio that he could go 5 rounds hard. But the Holland fight kind of went against that, because then he started to gas for air, even though he wasn't. It's not like Holland was doing a whole lot of off his back, and he was still getting tired. I don't know, but maybe it's getting hurt on the feet and feeling like he has to desperately hold him down, because if he stands with him for 15 seconds, he'll get knocked out, or matter of fact, 20 seconds or 30 seconds. But I don't know. I was not impressed with those last 2 fights. And I feel like with Vettori, yes, he has all these skills, but he's still a guy that forces a lot of things and still way too confident for where he is. Without a doubt, Adesanya is the better striker. Without a doubt, Adesanya won the first fight. And without a doubt, he had Adesanya down the 3rd round and literally did nothing with it. And against Holland, was not impressed again. So I feel like Adesanya will be able to stuff the takedowns of Vettori, or be able to address the takedowns of Vettori. I feel like Vettori forces too much of his grappling, and a lot of anything. His striking, he forces it a lot. His grappling, he forces a lot. And it's in MMA at the highest level, yes, you can have the skills, but you got to set things up better. You got to be more crafty with things. You got to be a little bit more sneaky. You got to play chess a little more at the higher level. The lower levels, you could get away with being this big force of nature, but at the higher level, it's a chess match. And if you're forcing these takedowns, yes, you could be strong. Yes, you might score them, but you're not going to really be able to, you could get the takedown, but not really be able to get that control time, really secure the takedown. And Adesanya's going to be able to see the takedown. If he does get takedown, be able to get back to his feet. And for the most part, be able to get the underhooks on Vettori when he's trying to force and muscle these takedowns. And just really just be able to negate the takedowns. And then pick apart Vettori on the feet, especially Vettori coming in with all this heat and steam and aggression. This be a perfect stylistic matchup for Adesanya, a guy that's aggressive coming at him, and allow him to strike and beat a counter fighter and to take advantage of an aggressive fighter. And I think that's going to be the case. I think Vettori's going to come in and, kind of fight like Paulo Costa should have fight to an extent, going for the takedowns more, but Adesanya's going to be more than ready. And it's not like Adesanya has not fought. Literally every single person he fought has wanted to take him to the ground. And outside of Blachowicz, no one has had that success. And also, you got to recognize that Blachowicz really, in a lot of rounds, if not all the rounds, outstruck Adesanya. It wasn't just a case of him going for takedowns and that was his path to victory. It was the whole full package. And I feel like Vettori's not going to have really none of the package. He has the skills, but he's not going to put them together to make the package. Like what I'm saying. Forcing takedowns, forcing strikes, being aggressive, and that aggression is going to make him predictable, make him susceptible to counters, and Adesanya's going to play right into Adesanya's game. I think Adesanya's going to be able to stuff the takedowns, make him pay for it every single time, frustrate Vettori. That frustration and lack of success is going to cause Vettori to spend more energy, think more, and really start to cardio drain, mental drain, and play right into Adesanya's game. And by the 3rd round, be a little bit laboring, mouth open, and Adesanya's going to pick him apart, find that sharp, like that, that shot, clean shot right on the chin or temple, put Vettori down, and finish him in the 3rd round. So in this one, I have Israel Adesanya via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the 4 card of fights for UFC 263, Adesanya versus Vettori 2. And as always, thanks for watching.